Welcome to Emerge, the radio show. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and we're so glad you're joining us. On this week's show, we'll be speaking with Ayanna Johnson, the winner of Miss Virginia Outstanding Teen and founder of the nonprofit Ayanna's Hope Cells, and also Sean Banks, president of Cachet Consulting, LLC. Of course, a little later, we'll be making a divine decision with me, Dorothea. Then we'll let Deshana drop some jewels as she gives us her 2 cents on finance. But first up, like we always do around this time, we get to hear some amazing tips from Tiffany to help you emerge as a CEO. So come on, let's go and tiptoe over with Tiffany into the CEO's Corner.
Emerge yourself. Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany Boyle in the CEO Corner. The one question we always ask on this show is, what does the word emerge mean to you? We ask this because honestly, it means something different to everyone. And I absolutely love hearing all the different answers. But literally, the definition means move out of or away from something and come into view, become apparent, important, or prominent. To simplify it, the synonyms are come up, materialize, surface. So no matter what you are in your CEO journey, in your boss journey, you can always emerge. That is such a great thing to know. No matter where you are, you can always elevate. There is always hope. Thinking about starting a business? Then you start it. You started a business? Then you grow it. You grow it? Now you can expand. Always a way to rise up in your journey. Remember that. And I'm Tiffany Boyle, and that's my tip from the CEO Corner.
Emerge yourself. Tiffany and Deshana speak with Ayanna Johnson, the winner of Miss Virginia Outstanding Teen and founder of the nonprofit Ayanna's Hope Cells.
So my name is Ayanna Johnson. I'm 16 years old and I reside in Suffolk, Virginia, and I'm currently a junior in high school. I'm also Miss Virginia's Teen 2022.
That is so amazing. So you said you're 16.
Yes.
You said junior?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Awesome. So do you do well in school?
Yes, I do take my academics very seriously. I'm in the National Honor Society at my school, the National Beta Club. I do a couple of other different activities at my school as well. And I also attend Governor's School for the Arts.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh. I wish you could hear me giving you this hand clap. I'm proud. I have just met you. That is awesome.
Thank you.
How do you find the time to do it all?
Yeah, it can be difficult because I'm super busy and I've always been a pretty busy kid, super involved in school and everything. But I just learned how to manage my time over the years. And it's an important skill to have, especially now that I'm Miss Virginia's Teen. I have to figure out how I want to plan my events and my appearances, but also keeping up my schoolwork and then also just remaining a regular teenager and enjoying regular teenage activities as well.
Congratulations on being Miss Virginia Teen. When did all of that take place?
So I won the title in June of 2022.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great. So what did you have to work up to that? Did you do other pageants before? Tell us how the journey happened before.
Yes. So I did my first local competition for Miss America when I was 13. That's the youngest you can be. So I started off when I was 13. And when I won my first local title, it was COVID year. So I did not go to Miss Virginia that same year, but I decided to keep my title and I went back to Miss Virginia the following year in 2021. And it was my first time competing at the state level for Miss America and I got first runner up. And then I wanted to go back definitely the next year. So I won my second title as Miss Roanoke Valley's Outstanding Teen. And then I went back to state and won my state title in 2022.
That is an amazing journey, shows your perseverance. And what is it like to be in pageants, to work for this? And what is all involved?
So being in pageantry is a very unique experience. And since it's Black History Month too, I've talked to a lot of some of my Black title holders and people that I'm close to and also that compete in different organizations that we're in a unique spot because we represent a lot of people. And I'm able to represent the diversity in the organization because I am a Black competitor and I'm the first Black Miss Virginia's Teen in 10 years. So I also am able to represent other other people across the Commonwealth that didn't see themselves in a very long time represented in the Miss America organizations. It's a really beautiful thing to be able to touch a lot of different people, girls of color who are younger, who are older, just being able to see themselves more and being able to feel that they can achieve these same accomplishments. It's also great to just further my social impact initiative, which is all about chronic illness awareness and sickle cell awareness, which is really important to me as well. So getting to advance that, getting to try to inspire as many people as I can, while also developing lots of social skills and life skills that I'll need in the future is really awesome. And it's definitely helped me grow a lot as a person.
I'm just sitting over here in awe because even through just sitting here listening to you, you just sound so poised, so wise beyond your years. And so I can imagine why you probably won and why you hold that title. You just seem so extremely mature.
Thank you so much.
Where do you think that comes from inside of you?
I definitely think my upbringing, my parents have always been really strong people in my life and my family overall. I've had a lot of inspiration from the different women in my family and what they've been able to accomplish. And I've always been super inspired by that and wanted to accomplish high achievements as well and go after what I want and not be afraid to do that despite what society might say, the stigmas that might be held against me. So I would definitely say my parents have been a huge inspiration for me. I come from a dual military family, so they've sacrificed a lot to be where they are today and get me to where I am today. So that has definitely shaped my upbringing, because it was difficult to be with just one parent at some times and struggle with not feeling the most stable, maybe even at some times. And also growing up with a chronic illness, being in a dual military family was really difficult to not have both of their physical support all of the time. But that definitely made me a lot stronger into who I am today. I always say my Aunt Karen as well. She was a 2-time cancer survivor. And unfortunately, cancer took her home the 3rd time, but she was super active in her community and she worked in political office. She worked for the UN. She was a doctor and she did a lot of things to help other people, which I always found extremely inspiring. So I just continue to take what my family has given me, what I've learned throughout my upbringing, and I definitely use that to become the person I am today. Hopefully just continue to become a better version of myself as well.
Awesome. So since you hold this title, can you kind of talk to us about like some of the duties? Are there things that you're kind of obligated to do, or what exactly do you do since you hold the title?
Right. So the title of Miss Virginia Scene is a job in which the girl kind of decides what she wants to do with her year. And I have chosen that I wanted to be very, very active in my role because that's why I wanted to compete in the first place. I wanted to create a larger platform for sickle cell disease and other chronic illnesses that are underrepresented. So I really wanted to make sure that I was being really active in my service. And really the job of state title holder is to serve. You're supposed to serve your community. And that's what I've been blessed to be able to do throughout these past 6.5 months. Also, just it can vary. The job definitely varies from day to day. I might be asked to do a speech for 20 minutes on a topic, or it might be an instance where I'm asked to go read to some kids, or asked to go to a blood drive, volunteer there. So it really just depends on, where people want you to be, and you have to be flexible and agile and be able to adapt to any situation you're put in. But that's definitely probably what the role encompasses overall, how I would describe it.
If you are just tuning in, you are listening to Emerge. I'm Tiffany Boyle, along with co-host Shana Kemp Garnett, and we are talking with Ayana Johnson, a 16-year-old superstar who is also Miss Virginia Teen. So Ayana, tell us, what are your plans for the future?
Yes, so I am super blessed that I have joined the Miss America organization because we are earning scholarship dollars. And that's one of the unique things about our organization, because we have been able to have different universities across the country sponsor us in our education. So I have about 7 different universities that I can choose from that have provided me with full rides to college. And that will really help because I want to go to medical school. I want to be a pediatric hematologist in the future. And I also want to dance when I'm in college, and a little bit of my future as well. So medicine has always been a huge focus for me. And I decided I wanted to do hematology when I knew was about handling blood disorders. And since I have sickle cell disease, always, I knew that that's what I wanted to do because I would be able to relate to people a bit more who have blood disorders on a different level. So I knew that was something I wanted to do. And medical school is nothing that is cheap at all. So I'm really glad that I have all the scholarship dollars that I do now to be able to help me pursue a higher education.
Ayana, let me just say, you give me hope for the future. I can't even tell you how many conversations I'm part of, right? Where people talk about this newer generation and their work ethic and this and that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that goes to how people are raised and sometimes their circumstances. When I say you are truly amazing, oh my gosh, I can't wait to follow what you do. I know you're going to be super successful. I mean, just for me being a grown woman, you are an inspiration to me. Look at how you have your life planned and how you have it set up at 16 years old. That is crazy to me.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Thank you so much.
So how can we follow you, get in contact with you, be inspired by you? Let us know all that contact information.
Yes. So I'm always open to communicate with anyone at my social media handles. You can find me on Instagram at Miss America's Teen VA. That's where I post all of my stuff about my reign and about my year. But I'm also active on my personal account. That's _AYANA_LEE_. So a couple underscores there, but you can follow me on my personal account as well, where I'll be posting all of my community work and advocacy way after my reign ends as well, because I always say that the work will continue. So you can follow my journey on those platforms and always message me for any questions.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask you to repeat that again. What was the first Instagram handle that you gave us?
Miss America's Teen VA.
Awesome. You have made my day.
Thank you.
Truly an honor. I'm so blown away.
Thank you.
Yes, I am so impressed, and it's such an honor. We thank you so much for doing what you're doing, giving back, and we look forward to seeing great things from you presently and in the future.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so Ayana, I have one last question for you, and it is our signature question, and that is, what does the word emerge mean to you?
Well, word emerge to me means growing into yourself and figuring out who you are. I would say over the past few years, I've definitely emerged as a person in my own personal growth with myself and figuring out who I am. And I still have quite a long way to go because I'm only 16 years old, and it's going to take time to really find out who I am and what I feel like my purposes are on this earth. But I think emerge just means growing into who you are, creating your own narrative and creating your own story. And my dad always says, you have a testimony to tell, and one day you'll be able to tell that testimony. And I feel like I'm able to do that more and more each day, and I'll continue to do that throughout the rest of my life. So I think that's what emerge means to me.
That is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful definition.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time chatting with you both.
Emerge yourself. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For those caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Yeah, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Greg met his mother at their weekly dinner spot. She was about 15 minutes late because she took a wrong turn. They chatted through the meal, and she mentioned that she stopped playing cards with her friends. After eating, she excused herself and asked directions to the ladies' room. Greg missed 3 warning signs of Alzheimer's. Did you? Know where Alzheimer's and all dementia hide. Learn more at alz.org/10 signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association.
My name is Latoya Adams. I served in the Army. Being with Paralyzed Veterans of America, they have showed me so much is possible.
I'm Sean Castle, served in the United States Army. I went from laying in a hospital bed dying to being a professional wheelchair basketball player. And it started with that one moment where there's life. I am unstoppable because Paralyzed Veterans of America is by my side.
We are unstoppable.
Learn more at pva.org.
It's Emerge Wednesdays on WHOV 88.1 FM.
Welcome back. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and you're listening to Emerge, the radio show. The show that's all about entrepreneurs and business and is the premier information source for business owners. If you're just now joining us, Tiffany and Deshana just spoke with Ayanna Johnson, the winner of Miss Virginia Outstanding Teen and founder of the nonprofit Ayanna's Hope Cells. She's truly inspiring those around her, and age definitely isn't a factor for this young entrepreneur. So if you missed her interview or would like to listen to any of our previous shows, you can do so by visiting emergethemagazine.com. Okay, let's get to it. We all proceed throughout the course of our lives based upon a series of decisions. A decision is a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. And divine means excellence. So we're making an excellent choice. With that being said, let's make the divine decision today to evaluate. Evaluate is a transitive verb meaning to determine or fix the value of, to determine the significance, worth, or condition, usually by carefully appraisal and study. Well, I love how intent and specific that definition is because that's specifically what I wanted to get at today. Determining our significance and worth by studying our actions, behaviors, and lives. You could say today we'll talk about the importance of evaluating ourselves. This helps us determine if we are on the right path to our emergence. Think of it as a measuring stick used to track growth, but each mark isn't another inch or foot, but goals and desires. So, how's that going? Have you developed a consistent method that evaluates whether you're behind, on target, or ahead of your goals? Now, this takes another type of evaluation, one concerning time. Are you behind because you've been procrastinating? Maybe your approach lacked structure. Are you on target? Maybe you delegated your time well and stayed focused on what you set out to do. And maybe now you're ahead. We are all at different places, so we should ask the whys. Now, upon our self-evaluation, we'll be able to draw a conclusion of the adjustments needed. Maybe it's as simple as a change in strategy to get on target. Since you've kept on task, maybe now you can reflect on if you're happy with your end result or if you need to make some modifications. Or maybe you superseded your expectations and now deserve to celebrate yourself and acknowledge your accomplishments. Every part of the scenario requires a level of evaluation. If we don't consciously and regularly evaluate ourselves, we prevent or delay the growth that can only come from determining our significance and worth about ourselves. A lot of time we get caught up in evaluating other people and their accomplishments and neglect our own. Yeah, studying others for improvement is not a bad idea, but are we studying others because we're comparing or wishing the report on them is the same as ours? Are we failing to see the value and significance in our own lives? When we do, we devalue ourselves. Instead of seeing our own path to emergence, So if we just focus on ourselves, evaluate where we are and where we want to be, then we can determine and fix the value of our lives. I decided to peek over at the biblical term for evaluate after my thoughts were written down, and it confirmed the point I wanted to get across. And so it reads, fundamentally, evaluation affirms what is good and right while it seeks to redirect that which is deficient and unacceptable. So join me today. Make the divine decision to evaluate yourselves, not for my sake, but for the sake of your continued emergence. Knowing this decision will help to shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in our lives. And this, my friends, has been another divine decision with Dorothea. You can decide to be a part of the Emerge radio show by submitting your response to our signature question, what does the word emerge mean to you? Share that with us on our IG at emergethemagazine.com. This week's response came at an amazing time because Emerge launched our first Emerge Your Business networking event of the year, held every fourth Wednesday of the month at the Landing Hotel. And we got the pleasure of hearing from Miss Carla Carney, serial entrepreneur. And her response was to help you become a parent, important to express yourself and growth. All right. Thanks, Carla, for expressing yourself. And we're definitely wanting to become a parent here at Emerge. Thanks for listening to the Emerge radio show. Up next, Tiffany and myself will be speaking with Sean Banks, president of Cachet Consulting, LLC.
Emerge yourself. Well, hello, Sean. We are so excited to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Feels good to be on the show.
Yeah, so let's get started with you telling us a little bit about yourself and what you have going on.
Sure. So again, my name is Sean Banks. I'm the president and owner of Cash Consulting. We are a consulting firm that actually works with small businesses. We help them in 3 areas. Those 3 areas is marketing, technology, and accounting. Pretty much we've been in business for 6+ years now. We're very excited about helping small businesses to grow and expand their services. I work with a lot of businesses, whether it be automotive, whether it be salons, lawyer offices, or even doctor's offices. And one main thing that we work to actually help them do is be able to reduce their costs when it comes to business expenses. So anything that I can help out in those 3 areas that I mentioned, gladly able to work with those businesses with those areas specifically.
That is amazing. And how long have you been doing that?
So my company has been around for 6 years now. It took us a while to build up to this point, actually. When we first got started, we were actually just doing websites. And then over the course of time, we've made a number of partnerships with different companies that were able to provide the services that we're providing now for small businesses at an effective cost as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say accounting?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So that is one of my passions. When you said you guys have different clients, do you offer the same services to each client depending on whether it's accounting or, like you were saying, kind of development, or do you tailor it to what they need?
It's really based on what the client needs specifically. Sometimes we have clients that really need help more in the technology space than the accounting or the consulting piece or marketing piece, I should say. But it really just boils down to what areas that the client is really weak in. I know one client that we're working with currently, she is actually building her real estate business. So she's really just getting started off the ground. So right now she's actually using Cash Consulting as a way to help build her business by coming to us for the coaching aspect. And then once her business gets to a certain level, we're actually going to provide her with the technology that's going to give her the capabilities to actually run her business straight from her phone if she decides to.
Oh, wow. Sounds like I may need to make an appointment with you for some of the business ventures that I'm involved in. That sounds amazing.
Yes. And one thing I'll say too is that when people go into business for themselves, sometimes the biggest mistake that people really make is that they think they need everything all at once. Like they need the best website. They feel like they need the most top-notch CRM service. But really, that's not what it is when you first get started. All you need really is the basics. Even if you build your own website through a Squarespace or a Wix, even if it's just like $15, $20 a month, it's best to start off with the cheaper option just to go ahead and build your clientele. And a lot of people, they really spend all their money on paying for these $800,000 websites when they really don't need it. And some people's business ideas, you don't know if it's actually going to work for you in the current climate. So it's always best to start with what I like to call as an MVP. So what is going to be your minimum viable product? Now let's start with that first. See if there's a market out there for what you're offering. And if there is, that's when you can pretty much grow and scale and you can have that fancy website that you always wanted. So I think that's the first mistake a lot of people make. And a lot of people that I work with who are going to business for themselves, a lot of them, sometimes don't have that business acumen. Let's say, for example, they may know the real estate art industry very well, but they just don't know like how to set up their contracts or how to do business in a more precise way.
That is very true. Even with us, having our businesses between Emerge and Ladies Around the Globe, it's a constant, what do we need to fix? What do we need to update? But I am a firm believer of getting your stuff out there. Have a firm foundation, but get your stuff out there and grow and tweak as you go along, but stay consistent. So I'm glad you brought up that point. So tell us what made you want to start this business 6 years ago. What was your mindset like?
So to be honest with you, the reason why I wanted to start this business, because I always wanted to go into consulting. I always wanted to help people, solve specific problems. And even in my community, because I'm originally from Hampton Roads area, specifically Hampton, Virginia, and we have a huge community of small businesses. And some of those businesses don't know how to market themselves. A lot of restaurants that I went to had really good food, but nobody knew that they existed because of their location, or maybe they didn't know how to properly use social media to get themselves out there. So Hampton, we have a very good small business population, and a lot of small businesses, we fail because we don't know about these resources that are out there. Sometimes we need additional guidance or coaching, or maybe we need that account that's not going to stretch us for our dollars and able to provide us a quality, affordable service. So that's what I want to do primarily for the small business community, is really give them the resources they need to keep their doors open. And a lot of it really boils down to marketing and accounting. So knowing how you're going to make your money and knowing how to keep track of that money as it goes out on whatever you decide to spend it on.
If you're just now joining us, I'm Dorothea Schuler. I'm here with Tiffany Emerge Boyle, and this is Emerge, the radio show. We are speaking with Mr. Sean Banks. Wow. So you dropped several jewels. Sean, you made such an amazing point. Not only did you talk about accounting, but you spoke about marketing. And as Tiffany just talked about, between Emerge and Ladies Around the Globe, I'm learning so much about marketing. So I was leaning in when you said marketing, yes, I'm definitely going to have to contact Sean to get some information. I'll say information, advice, everything that you provide for small businesses. You also made an amazing point that Hampton Roads, and specifically Hampton, does have a very large small business community. So how have you emerged from a smaller business to what, we would call definitely like a mid-level business, because you are working with major corporations and contracts as well as small businesses? How did you go from the smaller scale to the larger? I heard you say 6 years you've been doing this.
Yes. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dorothea, it really took time to get to where I'm at currently. Like I said, when I first started this business, I was only doing websites. I had a web designer that we had a partnership, and I would bring him clientele to build websites for. And eventually it got to the point where I started looking for more partners to do business with. I actually was one of those entrepreneurs that tried to do everything in-house, where I would hire people to be marketing consultants, hired people that wanted to be bookkeepers, but it just didn't work out because I didn't have the time or the flexibility to manage all my employees. And then people just started dropping off because we didn't have the clientele at first when we started going into business. So eventually I just had to think to myself, what's a way to scale my business without having the hassle of managing more people? So with that just came the idea of looking to outsource a lot of things that I feel like we can get other people to do. So that's when I looked into my partnership with one of my partners now, who's called Kawina Tech. They're an IT company based in DC. They're veteran owned, and they design the mobile applications for my customers. They provide remote IT services. My other partner I have is Strive. They are actually a CRM based company that actually allows small businesses to manage their entire business from their phone, like I said. And then I also have a partner based in Tennessee. They're called Responsive Bookkeeping, and they actually do all the accounting for my customers as well. So these partners that I've actually made partnerships with, they've actually done my business a lot of justice because they actually do all of the legwork and I bring all the clients to them. So it works out perfectly for us and the relationships that we have.
I think that's a good point too. I admire, how you guys scaled and used your outsourcing, because I think people get into business and then right away they want to have employees and they want to do all of these things and saying they don't have time to do it. But I'm like, you have to find time to do all those things because having an employee takes more time. So that was really a great point that you brought up. So tell us, Sean, how can people reach out to you to utilize your services and to follow you?
Yes, definitely. So they can reach out through our website, which is CACHE consulting.co. They can definitely schedule time with me through the website. I actually do have a link that I can also send out as well that goes straight to my client portal. Somebody can create their own personalized account and they can choose which services that they'll be interested in meeting with me about. And then from there, we'll have a session where I'll learn about their challenges, what their needs are, and then I can recommend certain solutions for that client.
Nice. I have a question for you. You mentioned that one of your partners were out of DC. Being based in Virginia, how do you go about networking across state lines and how has that worked out for you? And do you have any advice for other entrepreneurs who are at a great place like you? As Tiffany said, the foundation is there. You're out, you're being productive. What advice do you have for people branching out, whether it's trying to partner with someone out of state, working with, or soliciting other services or delegating it out? How do you go about finding those people?
So that's a very good question, Dorothea. You really want to be able to leverage your resources. So LinkedIn is a powerful network that you can leverage. You can definitely find a lot of your clientele up there. You can reach out to them. Also, just one thing I'll say is, look for what they're hiring for. If you're a service-based business that provides accounting services, and let's say if you find some companies that's hiring for an accountant, that's another good way to get your foot in the door and to say, hey, instead of hiring an accountant that you're paying, who knows, maybe $70,000, $80,000 for, why don't you use my company instead and save yourself some money? LinkedIn is a good way. There's also a website called Alignable, which is made just for business owners, where business owners can go up there and share. They can share a lot of advice, such as like tips on marketing, tips on networking, and they're based on different. So there's groups for restaurant owners, there's groups for lawyers, doctors' offices, and they're all up there on this one platform, sharing best practices and tips to help grow their business. So that's another resource that I use to actually meet new clientele and get my business out there. So one thing I'll say too, I think one thing that the pandemic has taught everybody is that, we can work from anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're located. If your business is virtual and you have like a Zoom account like we do, you can pretty much do business with anybody across the US or even Canada at that point. And if you want to go international, that's just as possible. It's just a matter of leveraging, like I said, the resources you have and just thinking on a bigger scale.
Those are like a lot of good tidbits. That thank you, because I needed that information. Dorothea, don't you agree?
Girl, I'm over here taking notes. Okay. You are talking our language. Like Tiffany said, those tidbits are unbelievable. You are striking every chord. This is so invaluable. All entrepreneurs, business owners, aspiring business owners, you definitely need to be taking notes. And if you missed notes, please go back and check out this interview at emergethemagazine.com. Well, Sean, like me and Tiffany are mesmerized and we could literally go on all day, but we are so excited to ask you in particular our signature question. And that would be, what does the word emerge mean to you?
So that's a really good question. And if I had to think of like what emerge means to me, is really, in my point of view, becoming more than what you are today. And that really speaks to me when I think of that, because coming up, I was such an introvert that it really was stepping out my comfort zone with networking and growing my business was what really helped me get to where I'm at now. So one thing I'll say is emerge means to me is like being more than what you are today. And that's really just going out your comfort zone. So if you're a person that's an introvert like me, who's afraid to go out and network, talk about yourself, that is something you want to have to get over, because you're constantly selling yourself every single day to people that honestly you don't even know, but could potentially do business with you. Not because this is a service that you have, but because they just like you in general.
Wow. Just wow. That's how I'm going to describe this whole interview is wow. Thank you, Sean. I'm so happy that you decided to start your business 6 years ago and that you are continuing to emerge. What are your plans going forward?
So that's another good question, honestly. How can I say this? There's been a lot of setbacks along the way, a lot of things I had to learn. So going forward, I'm really just getting very specific with my goals. And now that I know what I want for myself and want for the business, my goal every quarter is to make sure, like, if I set a revenue goal, I need to set specific tactics I'm going to use to get there specifically. So I'll say for this quarter alone, because I'm very bad at setting goals and I always think ahead all the time. But I'll say for this quarter specifically, my aim is to help at least 20 businesses this quarter.
Wow. You said this quarter and not this year.
Yes, this quarter.
Yeah, Tiffany, this is definitely an interview for the books.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate you coming on here and sharing so much with us. I'm sure our listeners, our entrepreneurs, our small business owners really gained a lot from it. One more time, tell us how we can follow you.
Definitely visit our website, CACHE, consulting.co. Feel free to follow us on our Facebook and Instagram at Cash Consulting as well. We're also on LinkedIn. But if you really just want to get in touch with me, feel free to hit my office line at 571-418-8179 extension 800, or you can feel free to call me directly on my cell number, which is 703-936-4032. So if you have a small business and you're having challenges with marketing, technology, and accounting, feel free to reach out to me. I will help you and your business get to the place that it needs to be.
All right. Great. Well, thank you so much. We will be following you and we look forward to great things in your future.
Awesome. Thank you again, Tiffany and Dorothea.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Emerge yourself.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? Travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes, and suddenly you lose your motivation to get out of bed. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the season or time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round.
Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
Hey, that's one nice new bike, Josie.
Yeah, birthday present. Rides really smooth, too. Oh, and I see you finally got a new helmet.
I did. Bought it cheap online.
Love those side wings.
Hey, are you hungry?
Yeah, I'm starving. And need some water, too.
Okay, follow me. We'll turn off here.
I'm right behind you.
Hey, watch the cars. They can be crazy.
Teddy! No! Are you okay? Teddy! Somebody do something!
I called 911. They should be here soon.
Was this young man hit by a car?
Yes, and I'm concerned because his helmet is smashed and cracked open.
It's a brand new helmet.
It's probably a fake.
Please help him.
Fakes cause real harm. You're smart. Buy smart.
Go for real.
Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Hey, I thought you and the boys were doing some environmental cleanup thing today.
We are.
Well, it looks more like you're going fishing.
We are.
And that's the example you're setting for our children.
Uh-huh.
Conservation is easy. Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. To learn about all the ways your participation in boating and fishing help the environment, visit takemefishing.org/conservation.
Whoa, a digital music player. Thanks, Mom.
Glad you like it. We can finally toss out that old massive stereo.
Mom, you can't just throw out electronics. They need to be recycled or donated.
Recycled? Like aluminum cans?
Yeah, you just go to greenergadgets.org, enter your zip code, and it tells you where the nearest certified recycling center is.
I knew that.
Okay, Mom.
Recycling electronics is as easy as buying them. Log on to greenergadgets.org to find electronics recycling options near you.
You're listening to the Emerge Radio Show on WHOV.
I am Deshana Kim Garnett, and it's time for my 2 cents. Hello and happy Wednesday. I am super excited to be back one more week to share with you my 2 cents. What I want to do today is talk about just a few tips on how we can manage our business finances. If we're honest, a lot of us probably started our businesses and we had no idea what we were doing. Maybe you did, but I absolutely did not. I didn't come from an entrepreneurial background. And so just thinking about owning a business for me was super, how can I put this? It was overwhelming to say the least. Another thing is when I started my business, I was in my 20s and I was not the type that did the best with my finances. And as I was talking to my network and my group of friends, I found out that though a lot of us have businesses and we're seeing success now, when we talked about our finances on the personal side, we weren't doing the best. So how is it that you're not doing the best with your personal finances and now you have business finances and you have two different finances that you need to manage? Well, for me, one of my strengths is I am a learner. So I'm going to research, I'm going to read books, I'm going to find mentorships, I'm going to really look into what I can do better and what I can share with you. So I'm actually pulling some information from lendingtree.com. And if you just search out there, you will find great tips on how to manage your business finances. One thing I will say, a tip is you have to remain a student of your business. Even if you are successful, even if you're the most successful business owners that you know, there's always room and opportunity to learn more. So make sure you are out there being intentional about seeking out those opportunities. Managing your business finances is critical to keeping your business running smoothly and making informed decisions. If you neglect your business financials, you can lose out on valuable tax deductions and you can have problems with getting loans and making business decisions that can create more problems. So let me guess, you're an expert in managing your business finances, right? No, nobody's really truly an expert. Like I said, we all can learn something. One of the number one tips that I found, make sure that you separate your business and your personal finances. I know in the very beginning, you're using your personal finances to fund your business, but you need to figure out a way how to separate those two finances. Think about it. Even if you don't have your business structure and everything set up properly, how are you going to be accepting payment back from your customers and your clients? Make sure you have a separate account set up. Even if you don't have your business name on it yet, even if you're just starting, make sure you are segregating your personal and your business finances, okay? When you get to the point where you're making money, you can do so, pay yourself a salary. As a small business owner, you may pay yourself salary last or even forego a paycheck to entirely conserve cash and put more money back to your growing business. But paying yourself from the beginning, even if it's a few $100s a month, if you can afford to, it has its advantages you can't afford to miss. For one, it helps you pay your personal expenses and build your savings. That's crucial if the business doesn't work out. How you decide to pay yourself is going to depend on how your business is structured. So make sure you're talking to a financial professional or an accountant to do some research on how you can take a salary. Another tip, make sure you have someone helping you create your financial documents. Small business financial statements can provide a lot of insight into your business's financial health. There are 3 basic financial statements you should know of. A balance sheet, that's going to show you what your business owns, your assets, what you're going to owe as far as your liabilities at some specific point in time. It also shows you your equity, the difference between your asset and your liabilities, which is the amount of money you would have left if you sold all your business assets and you paid off your business debt. The second financial statement you should know about is a cash flow statement. That's going to summarize the cash that moved in and out of your business over a period of time. A cash flow statement is going to help you determine how much cash you have available to pay your bills and grow your business. The last tip that I want to give you is make sure you have some type of professional help you, whether it's a financial professional that does various things or if you have an accountant. This is going to be new to you in some cases. So make sure you have someone out there, someone credible that can help you navigate through your business finances. I am Deshana Kemp Garnett, and that's my 2 cents.
Here's what's coming up in Hampton Roads.
Let's take a look at some local and regional activities. HR BizWheel Quarterly Business Expo and Connection event is happening on Thursday, March 2nd at 5 o'clock p.m. at the Mariners Museum and Park in Newport News, Virginia, with tickets starting at $5. HR BizWheel Quarterly is an event series celebrating business success in Hampton Roads, Virginia. The series alternates locations between the peninsula and south side of the region and moves from city to city, demonstrating the reach of the regional business ecosystem. For tickets and additional information, visit unation.com. Create, collaborate, network. What if you work where networking meant creating relationships with people who have skills complementary to your own? People who might teach you something or turn you on to a new restaurant. People who might collaborate on a project providing a win-win for both you and your business. That's what we see going on at Work/Place every day, and we want you to see for yourself how co-working can benefit you or your business. We invite the community to come and work in our co-working spaces free of charge on the first Friday of each month from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reservations are required. This takes place in Newport News, Virginia. The contact information is 757-534-9164 to reserve your spot and receive additional information. A special thank you for the guests on today's show. To listen to past episodes, visit emergethemagazine.com.
Emerge yourself.
You've been listening to the Emerge Radio Show. All opinions expressed on this show are that of our guests and may or may not be shared by the Emerge Radio Show staff. Follow us on Facebook. Search Emerge Radio Show. On Instagram, Emerge the Magazine. And online, emergethemagazine.com.